I'm Diana Lockett. It's so nice to have any of you joining us today. Anybody watching it live, anybody watching it after, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm super excited to bring to you and introduce you to my friend, my collaborator in a project that we're working on together, and an incredible woman, visionary, global heart-centered leader. Karine Parker is our guest today. Welcome, Karine.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm so happy to be with you today, Diana.
Thank you.
It's an honor for me.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Karine is a beautiful woman that I had a chance to meet. We're part of a mastermind together, and Karine's taken a really big initiative on that. And the mastermind was originally called the Child and Youth Visionaries, and it's been now renamed the GIFTS, which is the Global Initiative for Transformation and Services, with the intention to serve children and youth internationally and support their parents and their educators or caregivers as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that later. I also want to let you know that Karine comes to us from France. She is a transport from France, and she now lives in the United States and transitioned her career from a chief financial controller to being able to provide really unique service work to children at risks in underprivileged schools, underserviced schools, as well as orphanages and even refugee camps, using some special circle techniques. And in it, she brings emotional literacy, she brings in the arts, and she brings in tons of her heart-filled compassion. And I'm really excited for you to hear a little bit about the work that she does, including having founded a nonprofit Texas French Alliance for the Arts, which is where I think there's a connection there with the circle work. So I'll let Karine explain it to us. So welcome again. And tell us a little bit more about these really big initiatives that you're doing in the world and how you came to do this, Karine.
So yes, it's a long story, so I'm going to make it short.
Okay.
What I want to share first is that usually the why comes from the knowing that we have as a child, and what is important to us, our purpose, and the life challenges tend to either reinforce this why, this knowing, and or also dim it. And for me, I think it reinforced it because I used to be isolated, had depression when I was a child due to life circumstances. But I knew deep down there was more to that. I knew that kind of life was preparing me to something else. I didn't know really what, but I knew it had to serve others. And it took me many, many, many years to get there. So, but when I look back, I feel like life is always preparing us to really reconnect with that purpose that we have as a child. And at least it was the case for me. And really the purpose for me was basically to give back and serve the children who are suffering, the ones who are isolated, the ones who are lost, the ones who are forgotten, the ones who have their backpack filled with so much emotions and pain that they cannot handle it. And that was really, my heart was really drawn towards the children. And so I was really only decided, especially after we had many terrorist attacks that happened in France. And I really felt, what can we do as a society instead of complaining on Facebook and targeting people? What can we do to support our youth who are the future, our children who are the future, so that they can be the peace and the hope we wish to see in the world? So it really started this movement that I called Be the Peace, Be the Hope, which was about really providing these services, these skills, this community of support, so that really students, especially students in underserved public schools, and after a few years, I also did it in refugee camps and in orphanages, they really can find a hope and create a life of purpose and a life of hope, of peace, and of purpose. So
Beautiful.
So that's how it started.
I love that. And there's a couple of things I really want to unpack there. One is that you saw the vision to turn your pain into purpose. And that's a really hard thing. Many people stay stuck in their pain and they speak and they think they're serving, but they're serving from inside their stories. And what I hear is that you're bringing your servitude in and you're above your story. You don't ignore the story, it was there, but your story has given you the courage, the strength, the vision to be able to deliver something so special into the world. And I want to acknowledge that because I know how much work goes into doing that. And I can tell that you're so there. So thank you for that. The other thing is that you mentioned about the ability to be able to serve and bring hope to children. Tell us a little bit about what that looks like when you go into schools, when you go into refugee camps. And I would love for you to speak a little bit about the refugee camp experience, because when you shared that with me, it really opened my eyes to the reality of what's going on in the world that is so incomprehensible for me, truly. I mean, I have an ignorance around it. And I felt such a longing to want to meet you in that space and be there with you and do some work there with you. And some of you might know that I'm working to support an orphanage to provide communication systems to nonverbal kids. And I feel like that's like such a small thing compared to what Karine is offering in the around the emotional literacy and the ability to hold space for these children to have the experience that they're having so that they can become more emotionally aware. They can become more fully who they are. They don't have to hide behind the mask. They don't have to judge themselves. So tell us a little bit about what that work looks like and how you come into that work, how you deliver it, how you access it, how you fund it, all of that stuff.
Yeah, so this is there is so much tied with this work, but what I could say is that basically it starts with, we have different pillars, but it starts with creating a circle of trust, a circle of safety, a circle of hope, where we start sharing what we want to give and receive in that circle. And it's beautiful to see children who never thought that they had something to give, that they start seeing, oh, yes, maybe I can give that. And also hearing others sharing what they want to give and receive. And usually it's love, friendship, peace, knowledge, purpose. We have like little kids saying, I want to find a purpose. And like as young as 7 or 8, and or knowledge, education, family. We have family a lot. They want to find a family. And it's just filled with so much love and hope. And so, and then we start, working on clarity. What do you want, about, first where you are and where do you want in the best life you can imagine. And then we start building the understanding, the awareness of emotions, how emotions are really a drive and they can really drive us to do amazing things, but we have to be aware of them and control them, manage them. So we really learn all these skills. They learn also about how they can use their brain, how our brain can be a friend that can really get us where we want to be, that can get us to really build relationships, beautiful relationships. So we are really teaching neuroscience. And something very important that we are teaching too is how to communicate. So nonviolent communication, how to understand our needs, what triggers us, what are the feelings we have when something is happening, observing, active listening, all these tools that help us to really be more in the present. And also, of course, mindfulness is so key, and the arts to creativity. So we use mindfulness so that we can anchor ourselves in the present and really, really embody all these knowledge, all these also this awareness. And we use the arts with the team. I really wanted to really include the arts because creativity is first a way to access our thinking brain, executive brain, but also a way to really to see the world broader and to be excited about things, passionate about things. And it's not about the end result, it's about the process. And what also I would like to share, one last thing, is that once we get to know all these tools, all this awareness we get, then we use it with the students. They get to use it and come up with projects that will really make an impact in their community. Mm-hmm. And so in refugee camps, we have kids who saw their parents being beheaded, being killed in front of them. They got separated. They lost everything. And when you go there, most of the time they say, why do we need hope? We lost everything, everything. So why do we need hope? Yeah. And what came to my mind the first time they asked me the question was, I know one day an opportunity will knock at your door. And if you don't have hope, you won't see it. And I believe that you can transform your life, even though the situations are complicated now. I cannot comprehend all the things you have been through, but I know that will happen, and I want you to be ready. And they always respond, okay, let's do it. And that's amazing, because they find through the circle, they find that space where they feel they have something to give, they have something to receive, they have in this community of support, and they are learning skills, and they are doing it in a way that is light. You know, we use drawing, we use dance, we use music, we use also a lot of reflection, and then they start opening up like little by little. And I had psychologists, for instance, in Iraq, they said, oh my gosh, you know, they never wanted to share all these things they are sharing on a piece of paper. They are sharing in the team, in the circle. And they were really impressed how really in a short amount of time, the kids were able to share really very difficult things, and be open and share the emotions and cry and feel supported. So for me, it's just a gift. So it's just, as you can see, I'm so excited when I talk about it, because I see the transformation all the time, and I want for all the children to have access to that.
I've got bumps all over my body, and I understand the power of circle, because I'm a circle facilitator as well, that in a circle we create an amplified field of safety. And so for these children who might have worked with a psychologist one-on-one or one in a small group, and they're getting direct questions and they're having to access answers from here, whereas in a circle, you're giving them permission to just be, to just feel, to be present to themselves and to be present to each other, which then opens up their own portals to their own emotional needs. And you mentioned words there that, like, I was 32 before I ever considered any of this. How do we communicate in a nonviolent communication way? How do we access and recognize our needs, our triggers, our feelings, active listening? Like, these are life skills that you're giving these most at-risk youth. What an incredible blessing.
Yes, it is. It is. And we use stories, and usually we use stories with animals or with different characters that they can relate to.
Yeah.
And then they start seeing, you know, the impact. We also learned that we cannot change what happens to us, but we can change our reaction to it, which will change the outcome. And it's like a aha moment for them.
Yeah, we get to assign meaning. So we get to, if we don't like the meaning that we've assigned it, we can change the meaning. How involved are parents and educators in this process, or is it specifically for children?
No, so me and the team, so the team and I, we basically trained also educators. 2 years ago, I trained math teachers, science teachers, you know, all kinds of teachers to really start implementing these concepts in the classroom, and really saw a huge difference. The whole school, we did with a team, basically it was the whole school was trained, and it was a year-long implementation, and it was beautiful to see the energy changing in that school, which is very at risk with a lot of violence. And the people who visited the school, even the chairman of my board, when they visited it, they say, but this is so nice here, this is so, like, they are so well behaved. And I think it's because of a partnership we had with the teachers who really invested in the program. We have started working with parents. We are opening up workshops for parents. It was not easy to do it at that time, but with COVID, with the online opportunities, now we can also reach parents better. And so that's a goal also, so that when the kids go back home, they can share with parents, and parents can really get what the kids are going through. So I'm hoping to do more of that work too.
Yeah, I see that as so important. So they have some common language, because the kids are going to bring home some language that these parents have never heard before. And I want to acknowledge even the teachers that you get to train. These aren't skills that we learn in school typically. So you're bringing in a whole new curriculum content that is so new to teachers, that you're transforming their lives. So of course the entire school is going to have a different energy and response to it, because you're giving so much, not just to the kids, but to the teachers. And how do people access these services? How do you get funding to deliver this? Like, what's that whole sort of behind the scenes piece of it?
So the program, I founded the program, Be the Peace, Be the Hope. It's under the umbrella of the Text and French Alliance for the Arts,
Okay.
which is a nonprofit that was founded 16 years ago by different professionals. And I took over the organization almost 11 years ago. And so basically we have sponsors. So we have really loyal sponsors who have been supporting us for over 10 years, and foundations, and also donations from the general public. And sometimes we have also partnerships with schools too. But yes, it takes time also to raise the money so that we can provide the services. But we are so passionate about the impact it creates. I keep saying, we have up to 60% decrease in anxiety and depression before and after, and so in only 6 weeks. So we can really say, because we have data, we measure the impact of the program. But yes, it's a nonprofit, so it's a different life, and we have to make it sustainable.
Yeah. And so with COVID right now, are you still delivering services? Are you doing it remotely? Are you going into schools?
So everything is done remotely. So we work in partnership with teachers. So we are on Zoom. We have a platform, an interactive platform called Nearpod, that is makes it really nice and fun. Also with the team and some partners like Lovescaping in the Text and French Alliance and Rotary, we have developed an app, social and emotional app, that is going to be offered very soon, so that students, they have also, I would like to see it as their best friends, I guess one of their best friends, so that when they need help, they can connect with the app, and they can have access to a really kind and caring community, and learn skills and share if they need help.
And is that an app that's going to be available publicly, or just to the people who participate in the program?
Through the schools. So we will make it available to school districts and so or to partners. But we want to have a partnership, because we want it to be really make it sustainable and supported by a team of professionals. And we have also, I want to also name them. It's the Texas Child Mental Health Care Consortium with Baylor College of Medicine, UT Health, and the Texas Children's Hospital. They are contributing to the app as well. So we'll have amazing professionals supporting this work.
Fantastic.
And I'm so grateful, so grateful.
Yeah, that's amazing. And when you go into orphanages, is that something you've done locally, or is that something you've done internationally?
So internationally, I did work in Africa, West Africa, Burkina Faso, and in India, also with an organization called Grace House of India. And so really my vision, and the vision I want to share with others, is that it's through partnerships, through collaborations, what we call collective impact. We can create collective impact by doing that. So I always partner with organizations in the different countries I go to, and of course in also the schools. And the idea is to really inspire each other and support each other, because when you do this work, for instance, I see we need somebody to teach kids also about posture. We need people also to teach kids about how to use their voice. So we need experts really to give them as many skills as they can, so that they really flourish and thrive.
And for those of you who don't know Karine, she is an incredible collaborator. She is, I'm going to call you a humble, heart-centered leader. You bring so much, you contribute so much, and you give so much to the mastermind group that we share together. And you've taught me so much. I mean, you've taught me about platforms, like you mentioned Nearpod a few minutes ago. I've never heard of Nearpod, and it's a brilliant platform to be able to collaborate and share ideas on. And what you have brought to this mastermind group that we participated in, that we've just recently renamed Gifts, is truly a sense of humility and so much skillfulness and knowing and true leadership. And I so appreciate you for doing that. I am so grateful to have met you on that platform. I'd love for you to speak a little bit about what your vision is for the Gifts organization or I guess movement moving forward.
So Gifts was created by Kate Rastak, and I joined on board, and I suggested, yes, we do a mastermind so that we can really create better collaboration. So the origin of Gifts was really to unite forces, have different professionals unite forces so that we can help children, parents, and educators locally and globally, and really inspire each other and serve better the students and their families and teachers. So that was really the goal. And you, as like many others, joined that platform. And with Kate, we've really invited each one of us to share our gifts, our potential, and see how this could really be collaborative and help create additional services that would benefit different communities. So that's the idea. And we have a lot of people, like 100 people who want to start joining the platform. So we are trying to figure out how right now together we can also involve more people so that we can have a bigger impact.
Yeah, and it's very, very co-creative and very collaborative. And so what's the first mission that we've had, the first way that we've delivered the service? What's our first platform?
So we started using Clubhouse recently, and we had really great feedback from the people who participated in the exchange, the conversation.
Yeah.
You led one this week. Last week we had Yandra. So each member of the team is really taking over different parts of the work and helping to really spread the message. But I think what I love, it's very organic. So it's not about pushing. It's really about inviting all these gifts coming together to serve better and I guess a broader audience.
Yeah. And I'll just add as well, so the Clubhouse room that we're doing, it's every Thursday at 6 o'clock Eastern time. And it starts with a general question. It's for educators and parents, and it's a check-in. How are you? We recognize that these are really challenging times, so that some people are really struggling, educators are struggling, parents are struggling, and we want to have a platform where we're not so much coaching. We're not really providing coaching. We are providing an opportunity for you. It's like a virtual circle to come in and share what's been heavy, what's been weighing on you, what you've been thinking of, some things that you've experienced. It's a way to support each other by sharing. And then, occasionally there may be a question or two around coaching, but that's not our intention. Our intention is really to give a platform for people to come together and feel like you're not alone. You're supported, and we're here for you. And so for anybody that's on Clubhouse at 6 o'clock on Thursdays Eastern time, we welcome you to join us. And if you need a Clubhouse invitation, for those of you who don't know Clubhouse, it's one of those newer apps, social media apps, only available on an Apple iPhone. And if you need an invitation, and I know I have 7 invitations, and many of our community, our group has invitations, right? So you can reach out to me and I'll connect you with someone. Is there anything that any ask that you have, any way that we can support you in your incredible mission in the world?
Yeah, so we support the nonprofit for sure, so that we can deliver more workshops, we can bring more professionals. So you can go to bpeacebehope.org and you have a donation button, but you can also come and encourage us through social media and support the work through social media too. Or if you are a professional, contact us and see maybe how you could provide some services.
Yeah.
I think we'll have different ways to do it. But yes, I'm still trying to figure out how we can really make it even bigger and broader, because it takes like-minded people, it takes heart-centered professionals to do this work.
And it takes a
And
village. It takes a village. You can't just have one person carrying it. So
absolutely.
I know you and I've talked about how we both feel that we're meant to collaborate more together. And we'll talk about this more. We'll talk about this more, of how I can come in and support and serve in that organization. So I'll put this in the comments. So bepeacebehope.org. Is that correct?
Yes, that's
To
correct.
do your donations. And social media, what is the social media access?
So we have Be the Peace, Be the Hope on Facebook. We have also Be Peace, Be Hope on Instagram.
Okay.
And so we are going, we haven't posted a lot lately because a lot of our work now is on I guess on Zoom. So we have pictures of the students, in their square, but I have so many new testimonials and comments from the students I want to share. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it more. And so, yes.
And the pictures behind you, those are your students?
Yes, so we have, many of them. Yeah, I worked with over 4,000 students. And what I want to share is, see, we here in the middle with the Elham. Elham is a source of inspiration for me. I met her in a refugee camp in Iraq. She had been sold to ISIS soldiers when she was 8 or 9. And so it was really, really tough time for her. And so, but at the end of the program, she said she wanted to be the future. And she wanted to invest in education and so that she can become the future for herself and for her family and her friends. So she really represented the work in the shape of the sun, a big sun like that was bringing life bringing sun. So it was, but yeah, all of them, many of them are inspiring me because they are I guess my drive. I wanted to share, I had a little 8-year-old. She said towards the end of the program, she said, I really want to trust more now because I discovered there was love in trust. And because I want to love, I need to trust. So I want to trust more. So imagine all these little minds, how they take everything and they transform their lives with it. So it's amazing.
Well, Karine, I want to say that you absolutely are the peace and the hope. And I am so grateful that I've met you. I value everything that you are and everything that you do. And I know that you're touching many, many lives. And I want to thank you for being here. I know that Barbara was watching and she commented that she thinks that we lost the connection. And no worries, if we did lose the connection, I'm just going to post the video on Facebook after so people can watch again. And I look forward to collaborating more with you and co-creating with you and seeing what we can create together around peace and hope in the world. So thank you so much for being
Likewise.
here.
Thank you, Diana.
All right, I'm just going to make sure we're disconnected. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stop.